let's worry about education and try to stop this. And I really think we have to stop saying that what a previous board did was wrong. We don't know that. You may think that, but we don't know that. And you're insulting people by doing that. Other people are insulting you by thinking what you do is wrong. Let's just move forward and make the best decisions that we possibly can. Can we agree to that?
Mr. LaCrone, out of all the times that you got up and spoke, I applaud you for the speech that you just gave, because I agree with it 100%.
But that means no more saying, if you know for sure that what was done was wrong, then present your facts, tell us what could have been done, and show us what was wrong. If you don't know, let's just forget about it.
Well, the only reason why I said that number could be 0, because if those contracts wouldn't have been signed, and it's hard not to say the old board, but if those contracts wouldn't have been signed and they would have taken another look at it, possibly to try to keep the debt down so it wasn't as high, then that number wouldn't be there. I wish, if that number wasn't there, I wouldn't have even said that.
Okay.
But I have to justify why that number is there. And the reason is that it just wasn't looked at, and that's what we wanted to do.
Let's just leave it at this. The reason is because you wanted to make a change for what was going on, and that came at a cost. But it is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Steve Bagwell. Mr. Snell, you did blackball a teacher. That was you. You know, if you would just look at these things sometimes and just say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. You were a lot of stress. You know, there's a lot of things you could say. But what we want to know is that you acknowledge the error and you move away from it. That's all we really care about. Everybody makes mistakes. It wouldn't be that hard to just do it. But instead to go, no, Steve's spreading rumors. When, you know, we know that you did.
Who said Steve's spreading rumors?
You.
You.
You responded to multiple people. Why would somebody start this rumor?
Did I say any?
It doesn't matter. Everybody knows I said it.
Mr. Bagwell, first of all, I cannot and I will not discuss personnel.
It's not a personnel issue. And you did
But I will
discuss
say-
it in public after the last meeting when you blamed the entire board for this.
But I
That's
will
even
say-
worse.
I will say, Mr. Bagwell, that any decision that's made, no one person on this board can make a decision.
No one, the board can't decide to blackball a teacher. They can't do that. That's the problem. Now you're blaming it on, that's saying that
I'm not
nobody
blaming
on
it on
this board
anybody.
has enough sense to go, we shouldn't do that.
I'm not blaming it on anybody, Mr. Bagwell. What I'm saying is personnel issues cannot be discussed, and I will not discuss personnel issues.
Is a substitute teacher a personnel issue? That's not like a subcontractor or anything? It is a personnel issue. But you did discuss it after the last meeting in public, so.
I talked to a board member.
Loudly after the meeting, yes, where people could hear it. It would still be okay if you just go, yeah, I'm sorry, I've learned we shouldn't do that. I'll try to do better. That would be okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Snell, I don't want to jump into this. Everybody knows what happened. If this was a board decision, could I see a record of the vote? Because I don't recall voting on that. You said it was a board decision.
If what was the board decision? First of all, are we discussing personnel issues here at this meeting that were discussed in executive session? Is that where it is? Am I understanding you correctly?
We discussed a teacher that you did not want to approve for the summons.
Executive session.
Where
you want to, Mr. Ruffing, if you want to get with me privately, I'd be happy to talk.
I did that after the last meeting. Yeah, I did it after the last meeting. Mr. Snell, I would just respectfully say, then why don't you just clear the air? As Mr. Bagwell said, you know, just relax. If a statement that you made was wrong, just say, look, I said something I shouldn't have said. I took an action that I shouldn't have taken, but it was not a board decision.
I don't believe I took any action.
I'm not gonna carry it on,
Thank you.
It was a disturbing event, that's all I want to say. Because it was the right fact to say that I care about highly respected people.
So do I.
Mr. Holland
So do I,
and
Bill.
the teacher that we're talking about, okay?
But he's not carrying it on.
But, it's not a secret.
Mr. Ruffing, I would like to respect, I mean, it's only been a couple minutes ago that Mr. O'Crone is up there. I would like to respect what he said up there, so I will be making no further comment to you about it. Is there any more public comments?
Sure. Dave Schimmel, 1201 Spruce Street. I was home doing homework and I heard the mention of a $38 million project. And I thought I have to go down and say something about that. I went back through all the documents we have on hand. Went back to the Act 34 public hearing. Bottom line, total project cost estimate, $36 million. Option 5. Construction cost estimate was about $31.5 million. April 4th, PlanCon's Parts D&E presentation by CRA. Again, the same numbers. Total project cost estimate, $36 million. The constructed cost, around $31.5 million. May 15, 2015, Commonwealth Financing Authority announcement. They announced a $2 million ACE grant, a grant that would be $2 million in our pocket, $2 million that offsets our cost. They published a project cost at about $36.5 million. August 11, 2015, CRA presentation on the bid results and alternates. The alternates that were selected, plus the roof, put the awards for the construction at about $31.2 million. Still below the Act 34, $31.5 million constructed cost. If you take that presentation, we take those numbers, add the roughly $4.5 million soft costs, all those variety of costs that are listed in PlanCon docs, you come up with $36 million. The ACE grant, by the way, going back to it, it required that the district kick in about $1.4 million to get the $2 million grant and a $0.4 million PDE lead award. So ends up being a $1 million net gain for us. We had to spend 1.4, we get 2.4, we make out $1 million of the good, plus the annual savings on energy and all that kind of stuff. The costs associated with the ACE grant, they're in the bid documents. They've been bidded upon, those contracts have been awarded. There's no off-book accounting method for the grant. It's in the costs. Last month, CRA showed that current board has been able to extract 1.5, 1.6 million, I think, in that neighborhood out of the current project. So that puts the construction cost, by my reckoning, takes it from what was about 31.2 million awarded down to about 29.7 million awarded. Add that 4.5 million soft cost, I mean, there's no way this project is hitting 36 million. It's just the numbers aren't there. What am I missing? Our cost to us, to this district, is not 36 million. Now, if you want to say adding the $2 million grant is a value-added portion, okay, fine, play with the words, I don't care. But in terms of a cost to our district, I'm not seeing where it's 36 million. And you guys have done hard work to get it below that. So what the heck's going on here? Somebody explain to me, where is 38 million coming from? Are we spending that? Because you know what? If we're spending 38 million to build this, I want to know. Because I ran a campaign on a $36 million on a project, and I want to know where the other 2 million is. Because it's been, where is it?
Mr. Schimmel, the $38 million is let's take the grant out of the equation. If this was the private sector and you was building a building and it was gonna cost $38 million, that's what it would be. Since we are a school district, it's still a $38 million project, but then we get a lead grant of $2 million. We're guaranteed that $2 million.
It's never been a $36 million project.
Excuse me?
It's never been 36 million. The
No,
PD documents.
No, it's at 38.
No, excuse me, it's never been 38 million. It's been 36.
Mr. Schimmel, it's only a $36 million project if we meet the lead requirements. If something would happen that we wouldn't have, which we are definitely going to meet it, correct, Ed?
Correct.
But if something would have happened that we wouldn't meet those lead requirements, that $2 million would be gone, and then it would turn back into a $38 million project.
The project was bid at 31, at 32, at 31.2 million, constructed costs. Throw in, if you look at the plan con documents, parts D and E, as well as various slides have been shown to us, there's another $4.5 million. That pushes this project at $36 million out of pocket, nominal. Go back to the public hearing, it was nominal 36 million. You go to Plan Con D&E, nominal $36 million max.
That's only if we meet the lead
No,
requirements.
the bid. The lead costs are in the bid. It's what we paid Silvertip. It's what we paid the mechanical electric. Mr. Castor, please help me on this. Where is that 32 million?
I gotta tell you, Dave, I wasn't involved in the project early on enough to even know some of the things you're going through.
Okay, good. This is basic. You have lots of construction experience, I understand, for people. Would you please get me an answer on this? This is either fuzzy math or look, I think the number was thrown out there, honestly, that I think attempt to make look like the previous board was maybe hiding some costs. I don't know. But I don't see anything more than 36 million. The lead costs that we had to invest have been bidded, have been awarded. They're part of the 31.2 that you've been able to get down now to 29.7. It doesn't add up to 38. It just does not.
It's not a $38 million building because of the soft costs in there, but the project itself is $38 million. We gotta come up with 36, and the state is gonna give us a lead grant for $2 million.
They're gonna give us 2, we're gonna offset that 36 and 34, which really is 35 because of the millions you've taken out of it. And they're gonna give us another 3.6 million that we can apply towards our debt service. So why don't we add that 3.6 to the top end too and say, hey, you know, it's a $41.6 million project. I think you're assigning value to the project. Okay, fine. Call it a valuated project of 38 million. I don't care. But to the district, the hard costs were capped at 36. It came in and expended, was it 36-ish? You've reduced at least $1.5 million out of it. We're probably going to, you know, be paying more than $500,000 to contractors for delays. But you're still going to, I think, in the end, net $1 million out of that project is in savings. I just don't see where our cost out of our pocket is going to hit us for 38 million.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that our costs are going to be 38 million. I'm saying our costs 36 million, but it is a $38 million project.
Okay, if we, let's just, this bag of grant, let's throw it away, let's forget about it.
Then it would cost us 38 million.
No. We have 1.4 million we had to put into the project.
Well, let me rephrase
1
that.
million of that was construction costs.
Let me-
It's in the Crabtree documents.
Let me rephrase
It's,
that.
it's
If-
admitted.
Mr. Schimmel, if at the end of the project, lead inspection comes in, they come in and inspect it and say, you don't qualify for the lead grant. That $1.4 million to get that lead grant was put into the building.
Certainly.
It was put into the building. That brought it up to the 36 million. Actually, it brought it up to the 38 million, but
No, it didn't.
the $2 million, if we get it, which we're gonna get it, is subtracted off 38. It's not subtracted off 36. It's subtracted off
We
38.
did this project last, whatever it was, August. When Silvertip and Lecce gave us their bids, there was primarily, it was energy efficient equipment was primarily where the huge costs were. When we awarded those contracts at, construction contracts at 31.2 million, the 1 million of it was in there. There were other costs, 300,000 to 400,000. Part of it was design, part of it was some other things. And it's all in the Crabtree, April, I believe the date is February 10 of 2015. It's in the Crabtree PowerPoint that was given in a public meeting. And everybody can get to that at the district's website. So we were paying for the contractor to put that equipment in at the 29.7 million bidded price tag. 29.7 plus the 4.5 million, maybe pushing 5 million for the soft costs. That still doesn't put us to 36 million. You'll keep the cost of this project below 36 million, even when we're finally probably done paying off contractors.
Sure, it's gonna be below the
It
36
never
million.
would have got to 38. It wouldn't.
No.
If you throw the grant away now, we're not gonna
Oh,
pay.
if we threw the grant away, it would've got to 38.
No, we're only gonna lose a net million.
Not if that equipment's already put into the building.
Well,
If we paid the cost, Mr. Schimmel, if we paid the cost to put that equipment in the building and threw away with that $2 million, we'd have to come up with $2 million because the total cost would be 38 million, with the soft cost, with the construction and everything else.
we're going to get a $2 million check. Probably multiple checks. They'll pay out based on the scope of work and when you're satisfied that you've done the work. This one they pay at the end of the run, once the lead certification checklist, which is in, by the way, board members, it's in your packet. You look at one of the very last pages, there's this litany of checklists for lead items that we have to meet in order to get this grant. So,
Mr. Schimmel, would you
yeah.
allow us the opportunity to sit with you to go over those
Oh,
things?
sure, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because we're either talking fuzzy math or different semantics, or I don't know what. So it's a real mystery. And this is, last month was the first time anyone, at any time, said 38. Clear up to that point, 36 million. And it's just a mystery to me where, how can you call it 38?
I think we can help you with that.
Okay, actually, I hope I can help you, but okay, good enough.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to extend the meeting an additional 30 minutes when 9 o'clock comes.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call vote, Randy.
maybe
call
we
a
should,
vote.
do you think we should maybe look at amending, you know, make an amendment to that at the next meeting? Whereas it was mentioned by a taxpayer earlier, that maybe we should go to, instead of, let's do a majority vote on that, and I realize, that that's.
I asked for that policy to be changed. I asked for it in December, it was ignored then, I would like it to be changed.
So what we've effectively done is we've given one board member the power to shut down all the taxpayers' comment at the end of the meeting.
Exactly.
With, Bill, with all due respect, we haven't given one power, the,
That's been on the board
The policy.
years.
policy manual.
And I stand corrected.
So change
You are
the
correct.
policy.
The
Change
policy,
policy.
as it stands, and as this, Mr. Mesker said, it's not right for one board member to be able to shut down public comment at the end of the meeting. That's not right, we need to change that.
I would ask that the superintendent come back with a policy at the next meeting, or the business manager, whoever needs to go to, that we go to a majority vote for meetings to be continued, rather than a one-person vote. I ask they bring a policy back to be voted on.
May I ask a question? Do you have a policy committee?
No.
What's this time?
Do
We'll
we-
move on to agenda items.
Do we have time do we have time to finish our business? We have what, 7 or 8 minutes?
Yeah, about 8, 9 minutes.
Looking at agenda items under the section of general, G1 through G6 are presented for motion this evening.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor of G1 through G6 approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under personnel, I would like to pull P1 out because this is a resignation of Penny Johnson, so let me read that for you. P1, approval to accept the resignation of Penny Johnson, technology coach, effective October the 14th, 2016. And I do that with respect to Penny as a longtime member of our district, and she would be sorely missed in the district. May I have a motion, please?
Motion. Fair second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Other personnel items, if we could please have a motion on P2 through P9.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Three-story addition. Testing and monitoring of construction activity is continuing through the process, including tasks relating to the placing of backfill and placing of concrete slabs and footings. Rough-ins for plumbing, HVAC, and electrical are keeping pace with masonry and floor slabs. Placing of footings is nearly complete within the new footprint. Construction of the concrete wall next to the existing building is continuing. Erecting of third-floor bearing walls is progressing as built at Building 5. Placing of floor slabs in Building B, third floor is complete. Installation of ductwork in first floor is continuing. Roofing is installed on the high roof of Building A. Erection of roof framing and deck for Building A is complete. Hanging and finishing of wallboard on first floor of Building A is continuing. Installation of metal stud framing throughout areas of Building A and B are continuing. Installation of aluminum window and door frames in Building A is underway. Temporary site parking has been constructed in the footprint of future permanent parking. Ceiling grid installation has begun. Following activities are expected for the near future. Continue rough-in for plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. Continue masonry bearing walls in Building B. Construct exterior stoops and landscape masonry walls. Continue structural steel joints and desks and deck. Begin ceramic tile in the nurses area. Continue roofing wherever possible. There is more. Would you like me to continue? George, would you like to?
Doesn't matter to me.
Demolition in the existing building is complete. All materials eligible for recycling in relation to LEED certification is being handled accordingly. Lighting fixtures and other electrical and low voltage devices were reinstalled for temporary use. Classrooms were ready for temporary occupancy for classes August 25th. Temporary marker boards were installed prior to classes beginning. Joe Naffo's maintenance group did a great job of having all areas of the existing building really clean and ready to occupy. Good job.
Good job, Joe.
It is Naffo, right?
You betcha.
And good job for your staff.
George says Ganaffo, and I didn't get it. Okay, whatever. Okay, even now, last time I reported the overlay tasks taking place in the corridor and the rooms would be finalized, so these amounts could be reported, but those numbers have not yet been available. We are using the existing boiler plant this year along with the existing unit ventilators and controls in the classrooms. This equipment was checked prior to occupancy in August and was expected to continue to function satisfactorily. Heat was turned on this week and seems to be operating fine. Thanks again to Joe Naffo's maintenance guys and to NRG for making sure things went smooth. That'll be it.
Move to LCPC. Got 2 minutes.
We'll have to shorten it up, George.
Well, I'd like to thank Wolf Run for donating an exam, $1,000 exam table. We have they made a buddy bench for competition of some sort. I have to apologize, I don't remember what the competition was. They did not win the competition. They donated the 3 buddy benches to East Lake County School District, their elementary school. And what they are is, they are to be like at the playground or a dance or anything like that. And if a student isn't or doesn't know what to do, if they are to go down and sit, on the bench, and then if another student sees that child sitting there, they are to go over and help that child out. And ask them, say, do you want to go do something or whatever, just to have a buddy for them. The colleges are now coming to LICO to see what's about the students instead of the students going to the colleges. And as of right now, LICO CT is their 10th year anniversary in the building they're in. That's it.
Are you representative, Mr. Ruffin?
I have nothing to report.
Oh, we got 30 seconds. Anybody want to comment?
I have one comment.
Sure.
To the cheerleaders, and Mrs. Weaver, Dan Fagnano's fundraiser. The cheerleaders tables and chairs. I applaud them. I applaud them for doing that.
One thing I'd like to say too, I was really, truly impressed at the middle school in the wood shop on the chairs that those kids are making, and that, they don't even want to mess with anything else. They love those chairs, and they are some really nice chairs, and I think that shop teacher, he, deserves applause for what he did.
Just real very quickly, Mr. Snell, how about a word, I'm not even gonna mention the teams, because I don't wanna put a jinx out there, but we do have some Montoursville sports teams that are doing exceptionally well. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's give them a round of applause.